everybody, welcome back to Kevin Reviews. I just finished seeing the Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. This is the third Conjuring film, and it's directed by Michael Chavez, who you might remember who directed The Curse of La Llorona. It's also written by James Wan, David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, and Chad Hayes. We have returning cast members with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga again as Ed and Lorraine Warren. And our newcomers are Riari O'Connor as Arnie Johnson and Sarah Catherine Hook, Debbie Glatzel. Um, so this is so after the nun and Annabelle comes home. Now people were thrilled about this new Conjuring film that's coming out, and the trailer looked good, looked interesting. It actually is related to a actual court case that happened in 1981 involving Arnie Johnson, um, who killed who killed his landlord, and the only defense was demonic possession. So I don't really know for sure, but from what I understand, it caught America by surprise because, and it just seems so far fetched because, you know, because demonic possession. Yeah, that's where you're going with. It's a bit crazy, but I think one of the lines, and while I'm not religious, I think one of the lines does kind of make it interesting. I think it was long. It was somewhere like, if we often say, God, if we if we accept the existence of God in the court, we should accept the existence of the devil. That's from Ed Warren in the film, which is an interesting line when you think about it. But many people were looking forward to The Conjuring 3, and it unfortunately, unlike the first two, this did not meet expectations. But and I would agree. And rewatching again, well, uh, let's not waste time and get to the review. So it's 1981 after a botched exorcism job. Um, Arnie is we see in the movie eventually that Arnie is possessed by a demon of some kind and kills his landlord. And because of that, because of kills his landlord, he is tried for first degree murder, which would lead to the death penalty. So, but his only defense is that he was possessed by a demon, and that they don't exactly show how big this is, but apparently this was supposed to be a big case. That even the title of the I can't even seem to find it, but in any case, they try to make it. It was kind of a big deal that swept across America or shocked America or something like that. So now it's up to the Warrens to figure out what happened and prove Arnie's innocence. Um, so first, some good things. Again, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga do a fantastic job at returning as Ed and Lorraine Warren. They add a little bit more layers to it, um, including even another thing they added was, which I don't know how true this is. They added Ed having a some uh, heart issues that kind of start affecting his work. Um, the it's I like the idea that they were going for. I mean, it definitely feels like it goes off the beaten path of the first two Conjuring films. So I mean, I admire what it did. I like some of the atmosphere, and it does have a little bit of tension. There's even one pretty trippy transition where it goes from day to night, as Lorraine's trying to use her ability or clairvoyant ability to kind of see things. So there's that moment. Um, but unfortunately, this did not please. Well, it may have pleased some, but this was kind of a step down from the first two Conjuring films. It's a pretty mixed bag, but it's not. Overall it's disappointing, and I would say it is disappointing, but it's not the worst. Um, because again, you have good performances. I do wish they kind of fleshed out Arnie or some of the other characters a little more, but then they kind of keep it safe, relatively safe, and mainly focus on the Warrens, which is, I guess, fine. But you kind of want the other characters to be interesting too. But that's the thing; they focus on the case. They made Ed and Lorraine more like detectives, like supernatural detectives, which I mean they'd done before in the first two, but this is more clues gathering, um, kind of like your typical like Law and Order, Criminal Minds, any detective type movie where it's all about gathering clues and figuring out what's going on. Um, and then I mean, like I said, I like the idea they were going for, but depending what you're looking for, that's the main thing. Are you looking for a horror movie with plenty of jump scares, good atmosphere, create that's even creative with its scares, or are you looking for more of like a true crime drama or a movie, TV, something like Criminal Minds or whatever? And that really depends on where you're at. And if you like both of them, I think you'll like this fine. Though I'm granted the jump scares are not that. I may have said this already. The jump scares are not as creative um, or tense at times, or either you you've seen them in the trailer, or you've seen them in, um, or because you've seen the first two Conjuring films, it feels like it's rinse and repeat with some of the jump scares, or you kind of see it where it's going to go a mile away. Um, so the other thing is that most of the what they try to add in this, it does take artistic liberties, because what is true is the Arnie case, from the whole defense about him being demonic, possessed by a demon, um, and then the result of the case at the ending, which I won't give away here, but and because of this, the rest of the movie is completely fabricated with this other story. Um, which is not a bad idea. It's kind of interesting, but I don't know. Again, it's not. It's like, are you really looking for something like that to be more detective work than it is about Ed and Lorraine just trying to, stop a demon? Which I mean, they technically are, but you're kind of not you're not sure. But I don't know. I think in large part, I think what the fault is probably direction, because again, this is Michael Chavez, who I think did fine in Curse of La Llorona, because that was mainly focused on one thing. Um, but I think this kind of gave him too much to work with, or I mean, at least they have James Wan, especially, who I think does fine. Did a good job along with the other writers to write for the story. But I don't know. I think direction and possibly writing is kind of at fault here. Um, so I don't know. And I think again, this could just simply because of Conjuring fatigue. I mean, we had the two Conjuring films, three Annabelle films, and one Nun. And if you want to count The Curse of La Llorona, and that just didn't, after, even for me, when I've seen these back to back, it does kind of feel fatigue just watching them. So, um, I don't know. I think there's some good things. I know I've given like uh let's see. Is there anything else? I like the ending. I like how the ending. Like how they gave another kind of layer to the Warrens. Even though it's not a major, it is kind of major layer. Um, it it's not, you know, in hindsight, it's not that as important. It's just important for the story, how the story wants to handle it. Um, and I don't know. The other characters, I barely remember what they, you know, I barely remember other than what they were assigned to. So they don't really stand out compared to, say, even the first two Conjuring films where, you know, um, I don't know. I feel like I want to talk more, but it's just I don't know. I think because of the Conjuring fatigue, I'm kind of it's like I don't know what else to talk about, and even if I do try to talk more about it, it um, it might spoil things in case you haven't seen it. So I would say if you're a fan of the Conjuring films, I say give this a try. And especially if you really like kind of like true crime type dramas, I think this also does it well. If you're looking for like a lot of scares and horror, there's not a ton here to really kind of warrant a watch per se. But I wouldn't count it out entirely. I don't like, it's weird because I'm giving this again like the last two films. Um, but I think I'm gonna give Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, uh, 3 stars, maybe 2.5. I think 3 stars is fine. It does okay for what it is. Um, so where I put it, I probably put this maybe a little bit under the Curse of La Llorona, and between that and the Annabelle Comes Home. So that's my thought in general. But in any case, what are your thoughts on The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It? Leave in the comments below. Give a like or dislike if you want. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next review.